Hey there, humanity. Teresa Marie, host of the podcast Free to Just Be, and a traveling ambassador of God's Chi, coming at you today, finally coming out from behind the microphone because it is time to launch, baby. And I am getting ready to put in your hands material that was downloaded to me over the last 5 or 6 years. And it's called Stepping Away from the Matrix, the First Awakening. And I learned very young, I was about 5 years old, that my light, my natural way of being was not going to be well received here on planet Earth. So I did what most of us learn to do. I suppressed who I truly am. I became quieter, smaller, more acceptable to society. And with that, I became more and more unhappy. I didn't understand why I wasn't accepted as I was, why I was told not to question authority, why I was too much, why I needed to fit into this mold that I didn't feel like me in. So I buried myself. And for years, I lived that way. And then I began to wake up to the Matrix. And what is the Matrix? Well, in my experience, the best way to explain the Matrix is picture a giant octopus. And at the center, the body of the octopus is this controlling force. Many would call it darkness or the devil or low vibration or the enemy of our soul. And from that center extend countless arms. And each arm represents a system. The education system, the medical system, religion, finance system, even the cultural and societal system. And within each of these systems are programs, kind of like the suction cups on the arms of the octopus. And the programs are designed to suck you in and attempt to keep you there, to shape how you think, how you behave, what you believe is possible. And this is what I've always called the Matrix merry-go-round. Stop the world, I want to get off. Ever felt like that? Yeah, Most people never even realize they're on the Matrix merry-go-round. But then comes a moment of awakening. And for me, there came a point where I simply couldn't do it anymore. I knew that I couldn't keep pretending. I couldn't keep conforming. I couldn't keep living a life that felt so far away from who I really was. And I didn't even fully know who I was yet. But I knew that the way I was living wasn't it. Maybe that's right where you're at. The breaking point, which becomes the beginning, the first crack in the system. And my awakening didn't happen all at once, just like yours is little by little. You began to question. And then you ask another question and another, and eventually you find yourself looking at the whole world differently, questioning things that you always accepted as true. And then everything shifts. It's like you take truth in and you start feeling it land in your body. And sometimes it feels really empowering. Oh, wow, that's the truth. And sometimes it's incredibly uncomfortable and you want to curl up in a ball like in the fetal position. And sometimes it feels like everything you thought was solid isn't, like sinking sand, right? But that discomfort, humanity, oh, that discomfort, that right there is the beginning of waking up. So how do you know you're waking up? Well, right now, there are so many people on this planet feeling it. And many of them don't even have words for it. It shows up in our life like this incredibly deep frustration that I just described. A restlessness, an itch you can't scratch, a sense that something is so wrong and off. It's exhaustion from living this life that doesn't feel true. And you may, find yourself feeling stuck in a job or a relationship or a version of yourself that you just don't want to be in anymore. But that voice, that's you waking up. Those are the signs. And then comes a turning point. There comes a moment when that discomfort of staying the same becomes far greater than any fear of changing or really looking at yourself, really going inside and looking at a mirror and asking questions like, who the heck am I really? What am I doing here? What's my purpose? These are huge questions. And most importantly, what is true to me? The truth that we were kept from, well, we have been conditioned as human beings to be humans that just keep doing. Distracted, constantly busy, constantly reaching outside ourselves for answers. But my dear brothers and sisters, the truth is, we're not empty. We're not broken. And we're not here to fit into systems that suppress us. We are, at our very core, living expressions of divine energy, a spark, a presence, an essence, a light of God. And that is the one thing the matrix cannot control unless we forget it. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to introduce stepping away from the matrix for one reason: to help you remember like I remembered, to help you reconnect with that channel to God, to help you begin your own awakening in your own way, at your own pace, because we're all different. We're not robotic. We are not cookie cutter people. God made us fearfully and wonderfully, and we're all absolutely unique. So we're all going to have our own way of this dance of transformation. But once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. And once you begin, everything changes. So if you haven't already listened to my podcast, Free to Just Be, I invite you to give it a listen. And be watching, folks, because in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to put in your hands some keys that will help you unlock who you really are. And as I end my podcast, every episode, I say the same thing. And truly, I am praying for you, humanity, that you have the greatest health and the most vibrant energy, and of course, peace.